So how do you actually succeed at becoming a remote-first company? My best piece of advice is to simply commit to it. I believe that many of the people who say, we tried remote and it didn't work, didn't really try. They survived the early days of the pandemic, but they didn't invest in remote-first practices because they planned on going back to an office. They viewed it as a moment in time, not a strategic shift. In a hybrid environment, people default to in-office practices. So by fully committing to remote work means that we rethink and redesign every aspect of our operations to support a distributed workforce. For example, onboarding and training. For decades, we trained by osmosis. You'd show up for work on the first day and your boss or someone from HR would say, okay, sit next to Steve, watch him, ask questions, you'll pick it up. I'm sure you'll be great. That's not onboarding, that's lazy, and it does not work in a remote environment. Instead, remote employees need a highly curated training and onboarding where HR orientation, their role overview, systems training, and team integration happen very intentionally. There's nothing worse than starting a new job and not knowing who to talk to, where to get help, or even access your email. In fact, as I was preparing for this talk, a friend shared that she had just started a new remote job. She had been through 5 interviews and her new boss loved her, only to find out on day 1 in her first team meeting that that boss was leaving the company. So HR said, okay, you're reporting to this person now. And a day later, sorry for the confusion, now you're reporting to this other person. She spent her first few days confused, bouncing back and forth between different teams because she didn't know exactly where she belonged. And nothing says you matter less than an experience like that. In a remote world, you have little room for error. And as employers, we got to bring our best from day 1. And after a lot of trial and error over the years, this is a sample of how we do it. When we hire a new employee, we send them their computer a week in advance, directly to their home with a swag bag and a gift for their family. On their first day, they're introduced to our HR leaders and giving an onboarding point of contact. We review the org chart with them so they know where to get information. Then there are leadership team meetings, one-on-ones, and lots of onboarding and education. Their calendar is literally loaded with appointments and trainings so that they know exactly where to be when they first arrive. Everything about the onboarding process is extremely deliberate. The same is true about how leaders manage employees.